Right now, hackers are siphoning your encrypted passwords, bank details, and private messages. They can't read any of it today, but they are playing a long game called Store Now, Decrypt Later. They are stockpiling your digital life, waiting for the technology to catch up. They are waiting for the arrival of large-scale quantum computers. These machines will use a superposition of states to rapidly factor the large prime numbers that underpin modern security, shattering the RSA encryption that currently protects the Internet. To survive this, cryptographers are moving toward lattice-based security. Instead of relying on a single mathematical problem, it hides information within a 1,000-dimensional grid, creating a structure that remains secure even against quantum speeds. We can see a similar structural risk in how many of us manage our own lives. Relying on a single income stream or one solitary social circle mirrors that single point of failure, a single point of failure that, if compromised, leaves the entire foundation exposed. We are going to build a personal version of this lattice defense. Grab a piece of paper or open a spreadsheet and create 3 columns: income, skills, and social. Navigating a volatile future requires moving beyond these single points of failure. We need to actively upgrade our personal architecture into a resilient, multidimensional system. We begin with an RSA audit. Look at your 3 columns and list your primary default source for each one, the pillars you currently rely on. In the income column, most people have a single entry, their 9-to-5 job. While this feels stable, it represents a significant vulnerability. If that one connection is severed, the entire financial system it supports goes offline. This chart shows how identifying these solitary anchors exposes the baseline fragility of your current structure. The same applies to the other categories. You might find you rely on a single niche professional skill or a solitary group of coworkers for your social community. When you rely on a single point of failure, the reality is simple. A single vulnerability can destroy your entire foundation. Take a moment to finalize your list. Identify the 1 to 3 distinct vulnerabilities where your life currently rests on a single point of failure. Documenting these fragile pillars is a necessary first step. You cannot reinforce a structure until you know exactly where it is likely to break. In lattice cryptography, data is secure because it is distributed across thousands of dimensions. An attacker might compromise one specific node, but the overall information remains hidden within the complexity of the grid. To apply this to your own matrix, brainstorm and write down 2 to 3 alternative nodes directly beneath each of the red vulnerabilities you identified. This chart illustrates diversifying the income column with freelance consulting or dividend stocks. For the social column, find communities outside work, like a running club. This shows true resilience, replacing a life held by a single thread with a distributed, multi-node personal lattice. As you brainstorm, do not worry about how big these ideas are yet. The goal right now is simply to identify potential dimensions for growth. Your paper should now look like a multi-tiered list, representing a shift from a single pillar to an interconnected web. By building this grid, you ensure that a layoff or a personal fallout is no longer a catastrophic system failure. It becomes a manageable road bump. Mapping out a 1,000-dimensional grid is a useful exercise, but it can also feel overwhelming. To move from planning to action, we look to the math once more. In lattice security, the closest vector problem is the mathematical challenge of finding the nearest point in a complex grid. We can use that same concept of the nearest point to identify where to start. Scan your list of alternative nodes and circle the closest vector, the most accessible starting point. While starting a business is a distant node, a Thursday run club is nearby. Find the entry with the least friction to establish your first new dimension. Next to that circled item, write down a single 10-minute action step you can take right now to initialize it. Security isn't built by executing 1,000 steps at once. It is built by identifying and securing the single nearest node to strengthen the overall grid. Review your matrix. You have moved from a vague understanding of your vulnerabilities to a documented map of a multidimensional defense. This documentation provides a rational baseline for your security. Instead of an abstract fear of a single failure, You now have a visible path toward redundancy. Your task is to execute that one closest vector step within the next 24 hours. Send the email, make the call, or register for that group. True resilience comes from constantly expanding our dimensions, ensuring our personal architecture grows faster than the world can disrupt it.